Hi there, everyone, and welcome to Paper Wishes Weekly Webisodes. I'm Sarah Newman, and I'm so happy you're joining me for this episode of Saturday with Sara. Well, if you love shabby chic as much as I do, you're going to be really excited for today's collection from our friends at Creative Expressions. We have a set of beautiful vintage-inspired pattern papers, plus 3 really versatile dies from designer Sam Poole. So let's take a look. I'll move aside the dies for now, and we can start with this gorgeous paper pack. So this is the Worn and Weathered collection, and this contains 36 sheets of 8x8 papers, 6 each of 6 designs. So you can see the patterns here and up here, but let's have a flip through and you can see them a little bit more in detail. So they're a lovely soft collage. You've got some script, you've got text, you've got faux texture. This is right up my alley. They're so beautiful and really, really easy to use as well. So here's the paper pack. Then moving on to the dies. So let's take a look at the first one here, which is the doily, lace doily. Perfect for framing a sentiment or a photo, and so ideal for a card focal. Now you'll notice that the design has a little bit of a tattered edge around there, really adding to that vintage style. So there's the doily. Then we also have a set of petite lowercase letters. Now these are perfectly sized for your card front or of course for the inside of your card as well. So all of the letters there, all lowercase. And then finally we have the Shabby buttons, and this contains 14 dies to add a really sweet touch to your project. So you can see the variety of designs on here as well. So as you can see, we have a lot to explore today, and I'm so glad you're here. Come play with us. Let's begin with this easy and elegant design, which combines the pattern papers with the lace doily die, the alphabet dies, and the Shabby buttons all together, and to which I've also added some chipboard elements from hot off the press, plus some sparkle texture paste from Creative Expressions. It's a soft and delicate looking card, but there is a lot going on here, so let's take a look. For my card background, I've combined 2 of the pattern papers from the collection. We can take a look at these 2 here. So this is the sheet that I've covered my card front with, and then I've added a portion of this design here. Now, I've got lots of layers going on this card, but I want to talk a little bit first about the spattering that I've done. So I first covered my card front with this pattern paper, and you can see where some of that text is lining up here. And then I've added my Cosmic Shimmer Sparkle Texture Paste. Now this is an easy way to add some shine and some texture to a soft collage background. So let me move aside a couple of things here and we can take a look at how to do this. So I'm working onto my craft mat. I've got my pattern paper and I've got a piece of white cardstock here. I thought we could show both of these and you can maybe see a bit of a difference. So I'm going to use my craft mat as my palette, and I'm going to take some of my sparkle texture paste. Now this is the Silver Moon color. It's a beautiful blue silver. I'm just going to use my palette knife to get a bit of that medium right onto my craft mat. And then make sure that the lid is on here firmly. And I'm going to add a little spritz of water here too. And then I'm going to take my Distress Splatter Brush. So I use this a lot, you can tell probably, this is one of my favorite tools for splattering. So what I'm going to do before I start splattering is use my palette knife to get a nice watery medium here. And this will just make it easier to splatter that. There we go. And then I'm going to pick some of this up onto the bristles of my brush. And you can do this a couple of different ways. You can hold it perpendicular, you can hold it straight down. Really kind of depends on your comfort level and where you want to splatter. But this is all you do. Just run your fingers across those bristles and you can see immediately that you're able to get some texture and some shine here. Now let me show you also on this white piece of cardstock. You can probably see that splatter even more. Now some of the droplets will be larger than others. You can control that by determining how much you've got loaded onto your bristles. But you can get some really beautiful and elegant effects this way. Now I'm going to pop my brush back into my jar of water and just use a baby wipe to clean this up. And we're ready to go. So then I just need to let these dry and I will be ready for the next part of my card project. So there I think you can see how beautiful, soft, and elegant that is. Now let me grab my card back and we can take another look at the rest of the elements going on here. So as you can see, I've added that doily right on top. I've got this torn element here. All of my edges, even the edge of this strip going across the center, these have all been inked, and I'm using the Spectrum Noir Metallic Pigment Ink in silver. I know that you guys have seen me use the gold version of this quite a lot, but this just works so beautifully with that sparkle texture paste and creates a really nice soft metallic edge around here. Then I have my doily layered on top to create a frame for my focal. And I've die cut the letters from silver glitter cardstock. I've got a little swatch of it here. Now these come in, of course, much larger sheets, but this is just perfect for adding a gentle touch of shimmer and shine on here. So I've die cut those using my silver glitter cardstock, and I really recommend using sticky specks to adhere them because they are so small, and it's a great way to get everything aligned perfectly. The chipboard butterflies are from the Secret Garden chipboard set, and I've inked them first with orchid and then with metallic silver. So again, let me show you these here. This is the set, and this is from hot off the press. So the Secret Garden chipboard set, and you can see here nice sturdy elements, and they can be used as is or of course altered. So let's take a look at this. I'm using 2 inks for these. I'm using my beautiful Midas silver, and I'm also using the Hunky Dory orchid. Now this is a dye-based ink and this is a metallic pigment ink, and you can definitely use them together. So the first thing I want to do is chop out my element from the rest of the sheet of chipboard pieces, and that's just going to give me the ability to isolate where I'm inking so that I'm not getting it everywhere. Let me bring in a piece of scrap paper here. All I will do is just take that dye-based ink pad and I'm going to press it on here, and that will simply add some color on here. Now a dye-based ink pad, this will dry pretty quickly, but you do want to make sure that it's thoroughly dry before you add the rest of your ink or another ink on here. And so this one is pretty much dry. Then I'm going to come back in with my pigment ink, and the same process, just press this on here like so, and that's going to tone down that orchid and also give a little bit of shine on here. Now definitely let this dry because this is pretty juicy. Let this dry before you remove the chipboard element from the background piece, and then you can punch it right out and add it to your card project. And again, I recommend the sticky specks for that. That's going to make adding those on here a lot easier. Then I've got my buttons down here at the bottom, just die cut not only from pattern paper, but also from the glitter, silver glitter. And then for my card inside, I've really splattered the top and the bottom of the inside of the card with some of that sparkle texture paste. Make sure that you have this propped open to dry. Don't let it close. It will only take a couple of minutes, maybe 15 minutes to dry, depending on how much of that spattering you've done and how watery it is and how thick it is. So give it a little bit of time to dry before you close up your card or add more on here. And here I've got another strip of inked pattern paper, plus some more buttons to set off the Celebrate Dazzle message. This card features many of the same layout elements as our first card. So I have the pattern paper, I have that layered strip, and I've got the doily die cut as my focal. Now I also have some more of the Secret Garden chipboard elements. Now this time, instead of inking things for this card, I'm using the Wow Silver Fab Foil to add a shabby chic metallic look. And you can see that going along the edges here of my pattern paper, as well as just a little bit here on the butterfly and the flourishes here. So it's not completely foiled. I've got some white showing through underneath here, and that really keeps in with the shabby chic look of today's collection. It's also a really easy technique to do. All you need is some Wow Silver Fab Foil and a little bit of glue. So I like to use a glue stick. This just makes things a lot easier and tidier. And then what I'll do is simply snip off a piece of my fab foil. Now the fab foil comes folded on a roll like this. You get oodles of it, and a little bit goes a long way. So what I normally do is just grab my scissors and snip off a piece like this. Now one thing I'll point out, especially with the silver, with the other colors it's a little bit easier to tell. But on one side you've got a very shiny high reflection, then on the other side it's a dull silver. So this is the side that you want to go into your adhesive. So shiny side up when you're doing this technique. So just remember that. I'm going to move aside my card here, and I've got a piece of pattern paper. I've already got some foil on here. And then I've got my my chipboard element here, where you can see I've got some foil on here as well. So let me just show you. I'm going to add my glue stick along the edge here. You can add as little or as much as you want. I'm kind of going on here at an angle. And then I'm going to take my foil and just place it down on here. Burnish this really well. Make sure that that foil is coming in contact with the adhesive. And then all you need to do is just wait. You just need to wait for that glue to dry, which kind of depending on wherever you live may take, I don't know, 5 minutes or 15 minutes. That will depend on your area, and of course also how much glue you're putting on there too. So I put this on probably about 15 minutes ago, so I'm just going to gently pull this off. And there we go. You can see where I've got some of that shimmer and shine going along the edge here. Nice wide border, so you can do, of course, as narrow or as wide of coverage as you want on there. Now the same technique will be true on our chipboard. Simply apply your glue right on here. You do want to make sure you're not squashing it through some of those delicate areas there. Place your foil down, and then let's see, I did these two at the same time, so should be about ready to go. And there we can see I've got a little bit lighter of an effect on here. When I punch this out, then I will be able to see that beautiful foiling on here. So I'm going to try and do this carefully and gently. There we go. So I've got my beautiful butterfly on here. And I can leave this as is. I could also, if I wanted, add a little bit of dye-based ink on there and then wipe off the excess ink, and that would act as a resist, or the foil would act as a resist on there. So you've got some options there as well. So back to the card, you can see here I've got my butterfly, I've got some little crystals on here, and then I've just tucked those flourishes underneath here as well. And I'm also mixing in some of my alphabet dies here, cut from that beautiful silver glitter cardstock, along with my script dazzle. So that's a lot of fun too. Then for my card inside, I have more strips of pattern paper, plus one of silver glitter cardstock. I've got a couple of button die cuts and another silver foil butterfly, plus some more dazzles. This card features the flower pot card cutting dies to create a shaped card design. I love this look, and especially with the supplies in today's webisode. So the card is actually a pocket. So the bottom of the pocket is right down here, and you can tuck inside your message, your invitation, or any small treasure, and then decorate the front how you wish. So I'm going to flip this over. It might be a little bit easier to see this from the back. So you can see where the pocket is here, and then the back of some of the elements that I've put onto the front. So we'll show this, and this is where the message is, and it comes out like so. Really simple technique to do, of course, using the die set. So this is what the die will look like. You've got several pieces in here. You've got your main pocket piece. You've got a decorative top, which is this element here. And then you've got a piece that will fit perfectly inside. Now you also get flowers and leaves too. So let me flip this over. Of course, hot off the press, they're always going to give you diagrams and instructions and some ideas in here just to get your creativity going as well. So let me show you though with the technique of it. I'll move aside these pieces. And you can see here, this is the piece that will form our flower pot. So I'm going to take a piece of cardstock. Now, I'm using one of Hot Off the Press's pre-scored cards, and I'm just going to fold this up. And then what I'm going to do is align the bottom of the flower pot die with the fold of the card. So this will be my pocket bottom. So I'll just pop this down here. Of course, I'm going to edge it all the way as close as I can to one side or the other so I don't waste any cardstock. Secure that down with a little bit of low tack tape and run it through my die cutting machine. And then once I've done that, I will have a piece that looks like this. So if I open this up, there you can see the fold is going to be the bottom of my pocket, and then all I need to do is secure the sides here. And I recommend using a double-sided tape, something pretty strong. Before you add your tape on there though, I just would suggest take whatever piece you're going to set inside and just make sure when you're putting your tape down or your adhesive that you're not putting such a wide border on either side that this won't be able to go inside. So just make sure that you've got some space in there to accommodate whatever you're going to be tucking in. Then once you've got that all secured, you can go ahead and decorate it. So here I've covered the front of my card with that pattern paper, and then I added just a portion of the doily die here. Now, as I mentioned, you've got some flowers and a leaf die inside the set as well. So I die cut one large and one small flower and then a couple of the leaves. I'm using also that silver glitter cardstock here. Now there are flower centers included in the die set, but instead I wanted to use the buttons. So the set with the button dies, you've got lots of different sizes and shapes to choose from, so you can mix and match. Some have a really sweet scalloped edge, some have 2 holes, some have 4. You can really pick and choose how you want to combine these. So I was just mixing and matching between the pattern paper and that beautiful silver glitter cardstock. Then I've got a little tab here with the die cut letters to spell love. And I've just tucked that in among the leaves. Everything has been edged with my silver ink. And then, of course, tucked inside, I have my little message here, this portion of paper, a little section of the doily die. And I've got some more buttons here along with a dazzle message. So I really like incorporating those dazzles in contrast to the typeface of those dies, the letter dies. So a lot of fun here. And of course the dazzles also have little elements like this tiny heart, which I've added onto the front. All right, now I have one final project, which is using another one of our cutting dies, another one of my favorites, the mini gift envelope. So here's my envelope, and here's the message that goes inside. Now, I know I've shown this die lots and lots of times. It is one of my absolute favorites. So you've got the 2 pockets in here. This is the one that I'm using, and this is the shape. So as you can see, nice size, perfect for gift cards. And all I've done is simply die cut this 1.5 times. So not once, not twice, but 1.5 times. So I've die cut this from the patterned paper. And then because this is single-sided paper, I wanted to have the top of this lined with another paper. So I've die cut just half. And then simply glued the 2 together. I recommend using a glue stick for this. When that's dry, go ahead and fold this up as you normally would. Secure down the sides, fold up the bottom, and you have a really beautiful little pocket all ready to go. So what I've done here is simply added a little snippet of that doily die. I've got some more of those butterfly chipboard pieces, also inked with the orchid and with the metallic silver. I've got the For You message on here. On the other side, I've used a button kind of as a faux closure, a little bit of jute twine on here. Everything is inked around the outside edge with the silver. And here you can see I've got this lined. Now for the message inside, of course, you can tuck in a gift card. You can also just trim down another piece of pattern paper and add your message on top, which is what I've done here. And just added this little message inside, and again, another heart dazzle to finish this off. And this is our final project of the day today. Thank you to our friends at Creative Expressions for these fabulous supplies. I had a lot of fun playing with them, as I think you can see. And a special thanks to you today for joining me. I'm really glad that you're here, and we're so happy that you are a part of the Paper Wishes family. Do feel free to leave a comment. We love to hear what you think. Each item can be purchased separately, and you can see them below. However, we've also bundled them into a creative money saver just for you. For the money saver, just see this webisode on paperwishes.com. And if you're watching us on YouTube, have a look in the description box below this video. You'll find a link that will take you to our Paper Wishes webisodes page, and you can see everything I just mentioned. If you enjoyed our video today, we'd really appreciate a thumbs up. It helps people to find our channel. And don't forget to subscribe. We create 3 to 5 videos each week, so there's always something fun to inspire your creative spirit.